Hello, peeps. Happy hump day. I am going for a walk with Menza. She's in her stroller. Can you see her? I should just, let me I'll move the camera around. There she is. We are just going for a walk. It is absolutely gorgeous out. I was working all day and I actually had to do a lot of work today. So I didn't get my lunch break. I didn't get to come on here. I was supposed to go live with my friend Heidi, who's in business camp with me. So it's a bummer, but I have to get on. I'm in a homeopathic class. I'm getting certified. So if you've heard of the new candida yeast fungal issue going around that they're fear mongering about, and I'm not a fear monger, but I like to be prepared. So discussing different protocols, I'll share that with you guys once I have it. But in any case, I don't know if I said, if you're catching the live, drop live. If you're catching the replay, drop a replay. So I just want to tell you a little bit about my story and see if any part of this resonates, because I don't think up until recently I realized what a toll this has taken on my life. Now, my dad has passed a couple of years ago now, and I was losing connection. I had my Wi-Fi on. If you're catching the live, drop hey, let me know where you're tuning in from. Same with the replay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So anyway, I had a very tumultuous relationship with my father. And when he passed, we weren't speaking, and not by my choice. It was his. And, I had to make peace with a lot of things. And I remember, and I'll never, it's funny, and I don't know if you're this way. There's things that happen in your life that you never forget. It could be 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I mean, when I remember and think about this actual conversation with him, I can remember it as if it was yesterday. So I was living in the city. I lived in Battery Park. Loved it there. And I talked to him at that time. It was many years ago. And I was making six figures. And that was a lot. I was a woman in technology, which is not very common. And, I made it to a very good position in corporate America. It was in a global bank. And I called him, and I was crossing the West Side Highway, and I said, I got a raise. I got huge raise. I got a $20,000 raise. And at that time, that was a lot. So he's like, what's the number? What's the final number? And I was like, I'm making 125. He's like, that's it? And I felt like I got like sucker punched, and I lost it. I wanted to throw the phone across the West Side Highway, and I thought, that's it. Like, here I am, like, working my tail off. I was working, obviously, the 5 days, on calls, weekends, business trips. I was traveling all the time, and it felt like shit. I mean, it really felt like, what do I have to do to, like, gain approval or feel good enough? And this wasn't only by my father. It's just one of the many stories that makes me remember why I work so hard and I'm a one percenter, and how it can really be detrimental in some stages of your life, because you just feel like no matter what you do, no matter how much you do, it's not good enough. And you're always comparing, I was always comparing myself to someone else. What could I do to be better? What could I do to be different? How come they're having success and I'm not having success? And it really came to a head in Vegas, because you get to see a lot of people who are that are making a lot of money in business. You get to see a lot of people, and I looked up to a lot of people, and maybe they weren't who I thought they were. I met new friends who are amazing and really make everything feel so fulfilling. So I mean, part of this is like, get around your people. Part of what I'm telling you about my story is it's so important to not keep going to the person that makes you feel like crap to try and get that approval. Don't do it. Don't do it. You'll never, ever get it. It's important to be yourself, know your own potential, so that you can get it from people who are capable of giving it. A lot of times, these people who do this to us don't know. They either don't know better, they don't know how to communicate, and they're unhealed. And they're going through something, so they can't be any better than what they give you. So a lot of times we look for, I mean, this used to happen to me all the time. I used to look for, it was the same man, different name. Every time I dated someone, different name, same type of guy, emotionally unavailable, never went anywhere. And it was to protect myself. If I went out with a man like that, I'd never get hurt. Exactly, Aim. Exactly. And that's the whole thing about worth. This is my story from a young kid, from a very young kid. And I'm going to tell you one more story and I'll end it there. But I just thought this was powerful because there's so many people out there who are comparing themselves. They don't think they're enough. They're trying to get approval of people. You can't get approval from the same people who are hurting you. You can't do it. It's impossible. Believe me, I've tried for decades. It's not possible. So I remember as a little girl, and I think we're Facebook friends today. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I must have been, I don't know, 7 or 8, maybe. So I'm 46. This is almost 40 years ago, and I remember it like it's yesterday. She was my best friend, and I went over her house, and someone asked her to come over while I was there, and she went. Excessive blinking. I was at her house, like I was supposed to be the one that, like, we had a play date and she left me for someone else. Hey, Emery. And so something happened recently where it reminded me of that because it triggered it. I had asked someone to do something with me in business, right? And this is not someone I'm friends with, but just someone I thought I could collab with. And she's like, oh, I have some other messages. Let me get back to you. And I was like, what? And obviously she said she had someone else to collab with, but it was the same premise. Like, I asked you, and instead of like you having an adult business play date with me, you left me for somebody else because you got a better offer. And I really had an eye-opening experience where I was like, you know what? This is where it's time to know your worth, love yourself, know your potential, and do better. Now that I know better, do better. So I don't know if anyone can relate. If you've gone through something where you felt slighted, if someone made you feel like you weren't worthy, it really is time to take your power back. Nobody can take away that power from you. Nobody can take away your worth. And what I'm going to end with is when I saw Wes Watson in Vegas, he was telling stories about he was in jail for 10 years and now he's a huge success. Check him out on Instagram. He said he curses a lot, but the stories he tells are very inspiring. And he said, like, he used to get really upset that nobody would write him, nobody would visit him. And then he's like, you know what? I decided to love them anyway. Because he decided to love himself, because he knew he was worth it. Even if someone else wasn't going to show it to him, even if somebody else wasn't going to give it to him, he was going to give it to him. And so I just want to share that message. I know there's so many people hurting. I know it because I hear about it. It's in my inbox. I hear about it. So many people are hurting. And if you allow people to hurt you, it's just a really hard way to heal. You have to take your power back and heal yourself. So I'm going to give you some resources that help me through very dark times. Abraham Hicks is one. Actually went to go see her in person. She talks about law of attraction. Joe Dispenza is another. His meditations and his healing work, I don't know if you know about him, he actually healed a broken spine when the doctor said it wasn't possible. So he helps people heal from many things, being deaf, blind, cancer, tumors, not being able to walk. It's so, from hearing him and listening to his documentary Heal, he gave me a new lease on life to believe like there's no fear in anything. And the last resource is Dying to Be Me by Anina Morjani. She was riddled with cancer and she had a near-death experience. And from that, she said she was healed with pure unconditional love, came back cancer-free. The doctors were like, what in the... I read that story, it changed my life. Because you just don't realize the power of love. People want to, give an eye for an eye, and they want to, take revenge and, I'm going to treat you the way you treat me. Well, then everybody is treated like crap, right? You got to be better and do better. There's a lot of times in my life where I took the high road and it wasn't easy and I did the right thing even though I really didn't have to. I really didn't have to, and it served me very, very well. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. If you resonate with any part of the story, please drop it below. Please share it out if you think someone can get value. Drop me some bells if you got value from me. And also, if you don't want to, put it on a public thread here. Feel free to message me if anything I've said, raises some questions, or if you want more information on resources. I am happy to help. Have a good rest of your night.